Go PvP coaching? Well, I'm on Metafy, so click the link in the video description. It'll take you right to my page. What's up, guys? First video of Holiday Cup and the Holiday Cup meta. The reason it took me so long, I was on a little bit of a holiday myself. Kind of ironic, but I'm back. Here's the first one. We have Obstagoon Talonflame Core again with the special edition of Shadow Golbat as the save switch. Before we get into it, huge shout out to my Patreon supporters. Could not be doing this without you guys. Yeah, let's get right into that gameplay video. All right, so team is Obstagoon, Shadow Golbat, Talonflame. We have the classic moves on Obstagoon with Cross Chop and Night Slash. No Gunk Shot needed here. Then we have Golbat and Talonflame. Their movesets never change. This is an ABB team, double flyer, right? So you want to be swapping to Golbat at some point in the game, unless you have your Obstagoon lined up with what you think is their only flying answer. And then you can feel free to let your Obstagoon go down. But its job's not done until it takes down the opposing flyer. So in this case, I feel kind of bad. I'm not gonna lie to you. I clickbaited you all. Shadow Golbat, definitely not the MVP of this team. In fact, by far the least valuable Pokemon on this team. I feel like I've been a reasonably honest content creator in the past, so hopefully you guys can let this one slide. But this was a little bit of an inside joke when we were streaming too, was how useless Shadow Golbat was, and how I should probably clickbait YouTube with it. But yeah, this team, honestly, off the backs of Obstagoon and Talonflame Core, is just really strong. It proved itself in Ultra League, it's proved itself in Great League, and now it's proved itself in Holiday Cup. So it is just a very strong core, and even with the fact that Shadow Golbat really doesn't do all too much in any of these games, it is what it is. At the end of this game here, I lose to an Avalanche that they should not have gotten to. If you go back and you count, they go 6-6-4. 6 Powder Snows, 6 Powder Snows, 4 Powder Snows for 3 Avalanches, and the count is 6-6-5. So not really sure where they're getting that imaginary energy from, but it is what it is. Can't be too mad about that. Got to move on to the next game. We have an Altaria lead. This is one of the tougher leads for this line. Luckily, my Obstagoon has an affinity for fighting against flying types. It loves to get the boost here against Altaria. So if you don't get the boost against the Altaria lead, it's more of a spending 2 shields to kind of try and get it low enough that Golbat can take it out. Because Altaria is a pretty big threat to the backline, specifically Talonflame. In this case, with the boost, it makes the matchup a little bit easier. I'm able to force shields earlier on so that my opponent can't just take 2 shields of mine, and I'm actually ahead in shields at this point in time. Going to shield up one more time, and I should be able to win the race to the next Night Slash. So, unsurprisingly, they swap in their Vigoroth. I'm going to throw a Cross Chop here, and then swap out to Golbat. Golbat can easily tank a Body Slam from Vigoroth. Well, easily, it's about half HP. And it 4 times resists those counters, so it's going to be able to get a nice farm down without sacrificing too much here, whereas Talonflame would have gotten hit a little bit harder. In comes Altaria. I'm going to throw the Shadow Ball just to make sure we take this thing out. Like I said, it's a big threat to the Talonflame, and if we don't take it out now, and they're able to get to a Sky Attack, could be in some trouble. In comes Skarmory. It's Steel Wing Skarmory, and at this point, I realize I may have screwed up. Maybe throwing Poison Fang was the correct decision, because allowing them to farm down my Golbat in a 0 shield scenario is going to allow the Skarmory to get to a Brave Bird, and unfortunately Brave Bird does not KO for them, of course, unfortunately for them, and Flame Charge will. So if you do believe in your Pokemon hard enough, like my Talonflame, if you love your Pokemon, if the bond is strong enough there, they can sometimes hang on in impossible circumstances. Just kidding, of course, that's not a thing. That's the only thing in the main series games. But Pokemon Go, no, Talonflame is just slightly bulky enough to be able to handle that Brave Bird. Alright, we have a Nova and Stunfisk in the lead. A little bit desync special. The Niantic special at the beginning. Obstagoon going to throw a Night Slash here. And just play this one out. Obviously, this electric ground type is a pretty big threat to the back line, resisting not only the Poison Fangs, but all the flying moves as well. In comes Skarmory, and I realized I made a decision throwing here, because unfortunately, the Skarmory's going to get to a Brave Bird regardless, and I will have to shield this time. So I undercharged that a little bit, so I'm able to get a little bit more farm and end this with a Flame Charge. Even Stunfisk doesn't want to take a boosted Flame Charge, so it's pretty high value. But instead they bring in Talonflame, and I'm just going to throw a Flame Charge here. They're not going to shield because they know this is a Flame Charge I didn't build up. But because my Talonflame is kind of boosted and theirs isn't, I feel not too bad throwing a Flame Charge again. I'm going to no-shield this. If they Brave Bird, I can farm down. If they don't, well, then I'm getting the Flame Charge off. So win-win scenario here. Flame Charge should be enough to take out this Talonflame if they don't shield. Because they do, I'm not going to let myself get farmed down. I'm going to go right into the Golbat. I'm going to lose CMP to this Talonflame. And then somehow it's not even going to register. And the Incinerate will take out my Golbat. So Golbat, that was a typical Golbat contribution right there. Obstagoon's going to come in now. What a disaster actually from that Golbat. I should just throw in the Poison Fang, but gonna shield up. I thought I would live one Incinerate. And Obstagoon versus Stunfisk. So this doesn't look very good. Obstagoon is half HP. Stunfisk has a shield. And Obstagoon needs to desperately land one more Night Slash. I'm going to try and make a catch, but that also fails, so this game is even more disastrous than it once was. They have to throw a move, though, otherwise Flame Charge is going to be able to take out that Stunfisk. And Obstagoon, unfortunately, is going to be able to live this discharge and get to a Night Slash. And now the Obstagoon has 2 counters to take down this Talonflame before it faints to the Incinerate. So it's going to go 1, 2, and take it out, and actually going to win this game despite Golbat kind of... Well, I'm Golbat's trainer, so technically I crapped the bed too, but we both did not do a very good job there. Either way, on to the next one. We have Froslass lead. This is great. Talonflame also likes seeing this Froslass, so it's not too bad if they switch out. But they go to Vigoroth, and I'm going to Shadow Golbat here. Now I have 2 Pokemon that are great against Froslass. This game is looking pretty good. The unfortunate part about this matchup is even though you quadruple resist counters, you don't win this in even shields unless you have it, unless we're even energy to start. So because Vigoroth swapped, they're going to get to a Body Slam first. And I'm going to shield, and then I'm going to try and count for them. And throw Poison Fang right before they get there. Grab another shield, and I'm going to luckily be able to farm all the way down here. And transition this energy into either a shield against the Froslass or some significant damage. But instead they choose to bring an Obstagoon. So that's fine. Golbat resists these counters quite a bit. So able to just throw Poison Fangs here. They swap into the Froslass to catch a Poison Fang. And generally it's a good catch, but if you're catching a debuff move, you're locking yourself in with a debuff. And because of that, Obstagoon will be able to take out Froslass in 1 shot instead of 2. So now because they caught this Poison Fang, Obstagoon should be able to cleanly win this matchup in the 0v1 shield because it outpaces. So going to be able to just hang on, grab that Night Slash, and take out that Froslass. So Obstagoon comes back in, and Talonflame versus Obstagoon. This is a very, very easy matchup for Talonflame, of course. Just need to get to that Brave Bird. And it was a bit closer than I expected, right? Because that Gunk Shot, I really did not expect them to have that Gunk, but looks like it almost paid off for them here. Alright, this next battle, I believe, is the last one of the set. Let's see what we run into here. We have a Lapras lead, so this is where you want to see Shadow Lapras start a little bit desynced, which is unfortunate. So only get 6 Night Slashes, sorry, 6 counters through there. For the Surf, ideally you get 7. But then we get a little bit more of the Niantic Special, some lag. Looks like they got a little bit more energy than I did out of this one. So unfortunately, because of that, Shadow Lapras wins the 0 shield versus Obstagoon if it has lag as an assist. So I let that go down. I figured this is a pretty good farm potential for Talonflame. You only have to take 1 Ice Shard worth of damage to get full Incinerate. And they come in with the Vigoroth. So this is pretty good. Talonflame wins every shield scenario versus Vigoroth. And you're going to have to shield up the Body Slams. The fact that they came in with Vigoroth means that hopefully they have something very weak to Talonflame in the back. And if it's weak to Talonflame, it should be weak to Golbat too, unless it's Skarmory. So at this point, I'm just really hoping, not Skarmory in the back, anything but Skarmory, ABS. And yeah, have to shield up another Body Slam. And you'll see how much damage Body Slam does here in a second. They're going to get to a 3rd Body Slam. Vigoroth very spammy. And it almost takes out Talonflame. Gonna actually swap the last second to snipe this Vigoroth and save that energy on Talonflame to Brave Bird whatever's in the back. In comes Trevenant, and they're gonna get to Shadow Ball just as I get to Shadow Ball. But by not throwing Poison Fang, I force them to throw this Shadow Ball, and my Talonflame should be able to easily take out this Trevenant with the stored Brave Bird from earlier, assuming the no lag condition appears. Yeah, so Snipe was necessary there. It would have sucked to throw Flame Charge, because then Golbat would have to beat whatever's in the back. And it obviously could not. Golbat can't really beat a lot. So, yeah, just make sure that you're setting up your Talonflame and your Obstagoon for success, and not the Golbat here. Yeah, so I forgot to cut out this part. Sorry, everybody. That's a bit of an insight on to how the Q times are at 24:50 right now. Not too bad. And Vigoroth versus Obstagoon, obviously not a very good matchup. Going to swap right into the Golbat, and in comes Lantern. So, yeah, usually the advantage of Golbat is, or running a spicy ear Pokemon in a league, is that people won't be ready for it, and they won't have the Pokemon ready for it. But it seems like a lot of people have counters to Golbat. So, Lantern able to take out Golbat, but Golbat actually did a reasonable amount of damage to the Lantern here. I know I'm going to be able to take a Thunderbolt, no problem. It's just the second Thunderbolt, or the Hydro Pump, that's an issue. So, going to no shield my Obstagoon. I really wanted to farm down, but it wasn't in the cards. They were going to get to another Thunderbolt there. I'm going to throw Night Slash, and the fact that I've banked a Cross Chop for this Vigoroth to come back in is all that's important. So I check to see if it's Vigoroth. Is Vigoroth, I have enough HP that I could afford to do that. Throw the Cross Chop, grab the shield, and then now Talonflame does a lot better against Vigoroth in the 2v0, or sorry, 2v1 shield than it does in the 2v2, because you can afford to shield both these body slams and come up with a boost and pretty much full HP against whatever's in the back. Yeah, in this case, they don't, or they do get to their move. I actually let it through, I think. Yeah, we're going to tank that body slam just in case they had like a one-shot move in the back or something like that. Able to have enough HP that I really feel like between Obstagoon and Talonflame with a shield, I can take out really whatever is remaining. It's a Alolan Marowak, and Alolan Marowak does not appreciate a double boosted Brave Bird. Gonna take that right out. Yep, yet another win. Was that the last set was a 4-1, I believe, with that one loss being the Phantom Powder Snow. And we have another Altaria. They swap out right away into a Charmer. So guess what that means, folks? Your favorite double charm in Holiday Cup. Yep, that's right, double charm. There's a decent amount of it. Unfortunately, both Golbat and Talonflame require a shield to beat the common Charmers in Holiday Cup. So it is a bit unfortunate. But Golbat's able to get a big farm here and hopefully really lay into this Altaria. I go for the Poison Fang bait, but really, they probably should have went for the Shadow Ball. Altaria's not really shielding the first one. Now I go for the Shadow Ball because I know I'm only going to be able to get to one more move, but it's unlikely they don't shield this. Either way, I don't want them to have two shields for their Charmer. Anyways, I'm going to come back in with Obstagoon. And the reason this double charm looks so hard to beat right now is because of the Altaria lead. The entire team kind of loses to Altaria, even though the backline beats Charm. So it is a bit of a tougher situation than most double charm teams would be. Like, for example, AWAC double charm, you'd stomp it because Obstagoon beats AWAC. Obstagoon double charm, you'd also stomp it. So it's just the fact that there's Altaria in this one. In this case, I have to shield up that Ice Beam from Wigglytuff. But even Flame Charges at this point, boosted Flame Charges should be enough to take out this Altaria. But I'm going to go for the Brave Bird instead. This Altaria not throwing energy because it's saving the energy to Moonblast my Obstagoon at the back. So it made sense. If they threw, then Obstagoon would probably be able to get some moves, but they probably should have thrown, and then I think they might have still been able to beat the Obstagoon at the end. It'd be close. Alolan Geodude lead this very spicy, and in comes Obstagoon, so this team is already incredibly weak to Vigoroth, but that's okay. Shadow Golbat can tank a move, no problem, as long as there's no boost. I'm going to be able to get off this Poison Fang right away. And then unlike the Vigoroth matchup, you don't really have to shield the second one. Especially if they swap in and Obstagoon gets a couple counters off on their Obstagoon. Then you can see Golbat's going to win this race down to 0 HP. I even throw the Poison Fang here. And they get an extra counter through. So even with that extra counter, you're going to be able to take down that Obstagoon. We'll both spend a shield here. So Golbat able to win switch advantage pretty cleanly. Question mark. But they come into their own Golbat, the only other person who is crazy enough to run Golbat in Holiday Cup. And Golbat versus Talonflame, we've seen this before. It's actually not too bad for Golbat. The Shadow Ball hits incredibly hard. I can't afford a shield, though, because I got to save that shield for my my Obstagoon versus this Alolan Geodude. See my opportunity to farm down and gather 3 Night Slashes, almost. and throw them all at this Golbat. So it's just a matter of getting all 3 of these Night Slashes off. I just need to get one more counter in to get to that third one. They actually don't shield second Night Slash either, I believe. Yeah. So throwing that third Night Slash was a bad play. That was a game-losing play. But luckily, my Obstagoon has just enough HP to hang on. Oh yeah, and since Golbat sucks, we might as well talk about some replacements to it. Because I know you guys will be asking in the comments. I would run something like Skarmory maybe, or a Alolan Marowak. You can go ABB Fire too. I think that's fine. That could work. Either way, we have another Altaria lead. But remember, my Obstagoon is preferred opponent is Flying type, so we're gonna get another boost here and just keep this rolling. Gonna shield up the potential Moonblast, in which case they actually throw it this time. But because of that, I'm down a shield. I throw another Night Slash, which doesn't get shielded, and I decide, you know what? Let's try and farm down. But even with the boost, it's not enough. Altaria is gonna get to another move. And Obstagoon has put me down 2 shields. But of course I'm gonna shield. It's boosted. It's sunken cost fallacy. I have to shield at this point. Obstagoon almost at 2 moves. Going to be able to get a shield back with his cross chop. I'm going to swap right into Golbat. Maybe the Obstagoon will be useful later. And there's the Alolan Marowak. Against these Ghost Switch-ins, I like to go straight Shadow Ball. Maybe I'll start baiting in the future though. Just because every single Ghost Pokemon has shielded the Shadow Ball so far. Either way, I'm going to have to let Golbat go down here. Good job, Golbat. You've done your job. You took a shield. That's really as much as I can ask for. Actually lives the Shadow Bone, so we're gonna get Poison Fang off. And it's kind of important because Obstagoon will now be able to get to this Night Slash and take out the Alolan Marowak, which might have been a little bit of trouble for Talonflame. But now there's just a Vigoroth in the back, and the 2v2 scenario was pretty close, 2v2 shield scenario, but the 0v0 is not very close. Just gonna land a big Brave Bird there on the Vigoroth, and yeah, that's all she wrote. Next game, let's see what we have here. Obstagoon versus Obstagoon. So you're going to see what happens now when you don't get a bit of extra counter damage on the Obstagoon first. So Golbat going to come in. Tank a Night Slash. Just like we know the matchup. Or Poison Fang now, because I'm kind of expecting them to switch out. So I didn't want to throw right away because then they're clear to switch out. But they just don't have a better Golbat answer. So in this case, I don't shield the Night Slash. And that is kind of costly because if they don't have that couple counters of damage beforehand, you actually can't take them out. So Golbat will instead win shield advantage here, which is fine. And this Obstagoon throws at the end to stop my Golbat from getting to Poison Fang, although I don't think I would have got there because of the move sneak. But that means my Talonflame can come in and get a nice farm, unless Pelipper comes in. But Obstagoon doesn't have that great of a matchup versus Pelipper, unless we get the boost, and now these counters start really hurting, and this is a truly game-winning boost. A lot of people say boost can be game-winning, but this one truly won the game as they just quit out afterwards. And it's likely that they had something that could not beat Obstagoon in the back, or that could not be Talonflame in the back, although that would have been a very weird switch otherwise. Either way, sorry about drawing your attention away from the 5-0 that just happened. That's 9 wins in a row. But you know what? Winning is fun and all. But how about losing? For those of you who love losing, this next set is for you. I don't even want to watch this game. This game is played very poorly by me. We have Froslass switching from Shadow Snorlax. Anytime someone switches a Froslass into Obstagoon, you should win that game. Instead, I realize that Obstagoon loses to Froslass and CMP, so I go for the extra move. I know they're also 1 away, or 2 away, sorry, from their next Avalanche, so I throw. And then I decide to throw right away again, knowing that they're going to go for the CMP. And this is going to lose me the game, because now, instead of being able to farm this Froslass down and end this matchup with a ton of energy on my Obstagoon, I'm instead shields down versus this Vigoroth and Snorlax. And Shadow Snorlax can one-shot Obstagoon with his superpower from this HP. No problem. Golbat actually doing a pretty good job here. Tanks and Body Slam reasonably well. And the Poison Fangs really add up. In fact, this next Poison Fang is going to grab a shield from Snorlax. But the problem is the Snorlax is going to get a farm. I'm going to put it at a superpower with my Obstagoon in superpower range. So the correct play would probably be to come in with Talonflame and save my Obstagoon for later. But unfortunately is not the case. This Vigoroth has quite a bit of energy. Yeah, that Body Slam is going to hurt, but it's not the Body Slam that hurts. If the second Body Slam, sorry, not the first Body Slam, it's the second one, is going to put Talonflame in the red. And even if I land this Brave Bird and somehow they get the counter through anyways before I can even click, the Snorlax is just going to be able to look down. So, well played by my opponent, very poorly played by me. I hate putting games like this in where I disappoint myself. All right, Dedenne lead. So this is a yikes. This is maybe the worst Pokemon for this entire team. Dedenne is the only Pokemon, I think, that beats all three of these extremely cleanly. And not to mention, even after swapping into my Golbat, they have another hard counter in the back in the form of Lapras. So I'm going to undercharge here a little bit, recognizing I need some farm on Obstagoon. I probably should have undercharged quite a bit more, because this farm would be incredibly useful in trying to deal any damage at all to this Dedenne. So now I'm trying to look at my win condition here. I'm trying to look for it. It's hard to find, but the goal is here to two-shield Talonflame through everything. Pretty creative win condition. So at this point, saving shields for Talonflame. They're going to throw a move here. Hopefully it's not a play rough. If it is, Obstagoon's gone, but it's just discharge. Baiter's going to bait. Going to throw this Night Slash. Talonflame should be able to come in afterwards and maybe farm down with two shields. The problem is Dedenne does get to its moves very fast, and they throw with great timing there. Props to my opponent. Like, it's absolutely perfect timing, right at 7, and they throw one more because they know if they throw 2, they're going to take that Incinerate damage. So, fantastic play by my opponent. Extremely high-level play, and in comes Sableye. I was really hoping it would be something that Talonflame could dominate in the back. Like, if it was a Charmer, this would have been a win. But unfortunately, Sableye just does a little bit too much damage. Yeah. Yeah, Sableye is going to be able to land that foul play. And, like, even Obstagoon can't handle Sableye at that HP now. Alright. So, 0-2 start to this set. We'll see if we can turn it around. Lantern lead. So, not a great lead, but absolutely where you want to see it. Lantern, I'm pretty sure, beats Obstagoon in the one shield. But we have two shields. And the goal here is we really need to take out this Lantern. We don't want to get hit by a Hydro Pump. And the fact that they built up to 10, I might actually shield. And it's ABB. You kind of want to keep your Obstagoon healthy. We're going to hope that this isn't their only flyer counter, because otherwise, in a bit of trouble. I'm not going to shield that. That's definitely a Thunderbolt. But this allows my Obstagoon to farm all the way down. We'll see what comes in. Looks like it's a Diggersby. I'm going to swap right away to force out whatever else is weak against Obstagoon in the back. And they make a really quick swap too, getting to that Avalanche just as fast as I'm getting to the Shadow Ball. Obviously not going to shield my Golbat here. Good job, Golbat. You've done your job. You've taken some energy from the Froslass or something. I don't know. Yeah, typical Golbat contribution. And Obstagoon going to be able to get to some Night Slashes versus this Froslass. The big problem here is that you don't generally want to go into the Pokemon that can get farmed down first. And I did. So this Froslass is going to have quite a bit of energy for this Talonflame. And Talonflame absolutely does not want to take an Avalanche here. So they make a great catch onto their Diggersby. But what that really does is it just shifts my win condition. Instead of my win condition being to take out that Froslass with a Flame Charge, the goal here has to be now to end this matchup with a Flame Charge as well. So that's my win condition. If I don't end this with a Flame Charge, they're going to be able to Avalanche me for sure. So get to 2 Flame Charges. Going to throw 1 and hopefully KOs. But this Diggersby is just thick enough to live it, but it won't live the resultant Incinerate. And Talonflame is going to be able to Flame Charge its way to my first win of the set. Very close game though. Like I said, Lantern lead is a little bit tricky sometimes, and that Froslass in the back is another answer for those flyers. So a lot of people running 2 answers to flyers makes it a little bit tricky for sure. Vigoroth lead, not ideal. We're going to swap out. It's bad lead, but in comes Talonflame. Is this Golbat's time to finally shine? We're going to throw at 7. Get that Poison Fang off. They don't shield. Those Madmen, they didn't shield the Shadow Ball, so it's like they don't want Switch at all. But Switch, I will definitely take Switch. They shield the next one, the Poison Fang, or will I? So we seem to be tied, so Golbat is energy dry. I'm fine letting Golbat go down here, recognizing that he has set up this Talonflame for a perfect farm down with Obstagoon. So they're going to throw right away Flame Charge. And Obstagoon should be able to counter down. And this energy is extremely useful when the counter to Obstagoon is Vigoroth. So just going to throw this big cross chop at Galarian Vigoroth. Just kidding, it's Wigglytuff. They bring in Wigglytuff. They have too many Obstagoon answers here. But luckily, if people have a lot of Obstagoon answers, they generally don't have any Talonflame answers. So they're going to swap back into their Vigoroth. And like I mentioned earlier, the 2 shield versus 1 shield scenario with Talonflame versus Vigoroth is much more comfortable, and another reason why I decided not to shield my Golbat in that Golbat Talonflame matchup in the middle. Gonna shield up now for sure. That Body Slam is going to be the only charge move, or these Body Slams are going to be the only charge moves that they're going to be able to reach, as Wigglytuff isn't known for charging very fast. And they realize it. Brave Bird would have been very satisfying to land on that Wigglytuff, that's for sure. Alright, this next game is against a regular Stunfisk lead, and it's an ideal lead, but they make a catch onto their Talonflame, which honestly, I would have thrown a Night Slash at it anyways. In this case, we'll go to 7, throw the Poison Fang. I probably should have done this, because now I don't get as much farm. I decide not to Alright, I poorly decide to shield this one because I don't think I can afford to go shields down, and Stunfisk has a really good matchup against Golbat, but they're actually going to come in with Lapras instead. I'm going to throw the Shadow Ball here. Probably should have went for the Poison Fang first, but it is what it is. Since I'm only getting to 2 moves, you might as well bait first because they know for sure this one's a Poison Fang. Not going to shield here, and now I'm in a pretty bad situation. I let my Golbat get farmed down instead of switching out. I'm saving that for later. That might come back to bite me. Instead, I'm going to bring in Talonflame. Talonflame, not generally your Stunfisk counter, but this Stunfisk is loaded with energy. So I absolutely need to soak it up with something, and that sponge, unfortunately, today is Talonflame. But Obstagoon is in a very bad position now. It's only has 1 shield. They have 2 shields, and they have a Surf stored on their Lapras. So this Obstagoon has to be able to take out this Stunfisk before it has to spend that shield. The shield needs to be safe for Lapras. So yeah, just throwing Night Slashes. And yeah, no boost. Boost was kind of the win con here. But yeah, not going to happen. This Stunfisk going to get to that final Mud Bomb. I feel like it's thrown 100 moves this game. Or Discharge. And then yeah, like I said, Lapras is going to come in and get a pretty big surf off here. Unfortunate. Unfortunate. But yeah, if I only had just not shielded that Flame Charge, hindsight's 2020, this would have been a positive set. Either way, still smashed through to Veteran. I forgot to point out, at the end of that 5-0, that was my Veteran game. So happy to hit Veteran in Holiday Cup. It's taking it a bit slower this time, but hopefully I'll have some more Holiday Cup content coming up in the future. Not really 100% sure. It all depends if teams can work out or not. But anyways, all my socials, they're in the video description. So if you need coaching or just want to see what's going on Twitter, stuff like that, all the links are there. And as always, thanks for watching.